Beautiful album.
Hey, this is Jeremy from Pearl and the Beard. And speaking of music, you're listening to it.
Let's get to our the other quote on this same topic. I'm going to read to you a little splice from an interview. I got this from the consequenceofsound.net, but this is about Marilyn Manson's claim that he coined the term grunge. It says, the topic came up during a conversation about Manson's early years in the music industry when he still worked as a journalist. When he first began writing, he hated rock and roll, explaining that it was on the cusp of grunge and a lot of bands that I used to call communist rock because everyone wanted to be like the common man with the flannel shirts and Pearl Jam and their fight against Ticketmaster and all this horse shit. That's when he made the big reveal saying, quote, Nirvana was different. That was one of the bands I covered first as a journalist, and I'm just going to go ahead and say I coined the term grunge. Why don't we start off with Joe, you want to take this one first?
Yeah, I guess. I never knew that Marilyn Manson was a journalist.
I didn't either.
Yeah, that's definitely something, like, is there any proof of that? I mean,
He was.
No, not that he was a journalist. Like, when he was writing about Nirvana, was he, I mean, that's an easy thing to prove. Like, you could go look at what he was writing. Did he use the word grunge then?
That's true. You could research that.
I mean,
maybe.
yeah, that would totally be something that you could look up.
We should do that for a future episode.
Yeah.
There is a publication. I don't know the name of it at this time. He was writing for it in college. That's how he hooked up with Reznor from Nine Inch Nails and eventually got signed to Nothing Records.
Mm-hmm. So it's definitely something that could be researched. I mean, because that's a pretty bold statement. I mean, if you are a journalist and that's what you were writing, and if you're going to say you coined that word, then that word's obviously going to be in your first thing that you write about Nirvana, right? You're going to say these guys are a grunge band and use that word if that's the word you coined.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that really surprises me. Because, like, I'm 100% not a fan of anything Marilyn Manson has ever done. I don't like that kind of music. Like, I don't really care for Nine Inch Nails at all either. Like, I don't.
Uh-oh. So fighting words.
Oh, yeah. I'll take Rick. Me and Rick have fought a few times over it. It's cool. I like Pretty Hate Machine. I thought that was, that was something that was kind of groundbreaking. It was something new that people hadn't heard before, but like it got real old real fast to me. And anything Marilyn Manson did, I just have never been a fan of. Like, I don't like bands or musicians that rely on shock value.
Yes.
Like, same reason that I hate Kiss. I think that they're terrible. More people know Kiss for the fact that they dress up and they wear the makeup than their actual music.
Okay, now you're going to be fighting two of us.
That's cool. I also hate Led Zeppelin. Let's get that out there so everybody can hate me. That's going back to the question because I was veering. I can't believe that that's actually true, that he coined that phrase. Like, I think that was more, like Rick said, something that the media invented and not so much Marilyn Manson invented for a name of the dirtiness of what it sounded like.
You have to also recognize, though, that Ozzy back in 1980, 81 bit the head off of a fake bat on stage, and you could argue that was for publicity, but he had the music to back it up.
Yes.
Or Bowie.
David
Bowie. Ziggy Stardust. I mean, that was shocking parents, a man dressing up as a woman. Bowie's got the songs to back it up.
Exactly. And that's, they're not relying on the shock value. And that's my point. Like, Marilyn Manson totally relies on the shock value of coming out on stage and bondage and whatever. Like, because their music is nothing new. It's nothing good. It's, just pumped out crap to put out albums. And it's relying on that shock value, and it works. I mean, the guy's famous. I mean, he's doing it. But David Bowie, Ozzy, the stuff that they actually wrote, the music was there first. Mm-hmm. And then they put that shock value to open it up a little bit and, make a little. But, it's you shouldn't rely on that.
I'm sure Rick has a little more to say, but before we get to Rick, I wanted to sort of talk about how I like to talk about how we make the sausage of music, like the inside baseball aspects. Let me ask Shiloh this. Shiloh, when you hear the word grunge, you're a musician. You're familiar with how a guitar sounds in an amp when it's clean or when it's overdriven.
That is correct.
Distorted. You're familiar with different structures, rock and roll versus metal. What words are evoked in your mind when you hear the word grunge?
Garage.
Garage? Okay.
I mean, like band-wise, when it comes to...
Well, you could follow up with like some examples, but I mean, for me, and I'll hand it right back to you, I think of a sort of sloppy and dirty guitar.
Yeah, I think like dirty, like sexy, though.
Oh, sexy,
Yeah.
dirty.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah, maybe that's about it. I think
Dirty-
of
dirty
garages.
can be
I think
sexy.
about dirty and sexy.
What band came to mind when you heard the word grunge?
Well, unfortunately, most commonly, the minute I hear grunge, I think Nirvana, just because
Nirvana.
that's been,
Could you argue that it also speaks to the vocal texture style of the screamy, blown out, burnt voice?
to a point, like that heavy raspiness for sure.
Yes.
Not always, but yeah, that definitely comes to mind.
Right. Like Chris Cornell would be the exception to that characteristic.
Yeah.
What about you, Rick? What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree with Shiloh on a lot of it. As far as the sound, I think raw and primal garage rock. And you got to think in terms of the time period that grunge was coined and was starting to blow up. What was really big in rock and roll at that moment was, you had hair metal, you had Bon Jovi and
Glam
Poison.
rock.
Yes.
Mhm.
And the production was very clean, very every snare drum sounded like a cannon. And that was what was in. That was what was selling all those ballady bands. It was pop with loud guitars. Grunge kind of brought punk rock and heavy metal simultaneously back in their raw and pure forms. I mean, you could hear, I don't know, Black Flag just as much as you heard Black Sabbath in, early Soundgarden, Melvin's early Nirvana.
Mm-hmm.
Grunge, I think, was just something that was just raw. It was something that was new, but took from the old in the similar way that punk rock did. Only this had more tricks to kind of grab out of the bag.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. So we just want to remind listeners that this is being recorded at Mindrocket Studio in West Middlesex, PA. Find us on Facebook and stay tuned for further credits. This is our pilot episode, so we're learning about this as we go, just as you are listening as you go, so to speak.
Unless you're listening backwards, then you've already heard how this finishes.
And
And you could let us know how it finished.
Or if you're listening from the Matrix.
Or if you're listening from the Matrix. Very true.
I'm actually currently in the Matrix.
Awesome. I was wondering where that voice was coming.
They
Right.
don't have Pepsi.
I'm alive. At least that's what I think I wanna say tonight. I feel it when I loosen up my mind. Can't hear you when you say this is just the way it is. And so you know. And if only you could find this spine. And it's right in front of you. You're hopeless now, what we're through. And if only you could change your mind. And it's breaking you until you're desperate now, what will you do? What will you do?
All right, that was a cut from our Mindrocket Project sessions. Mr. Daniel Van Kirk and his new band, Panty Droppin Rock Brigade, formerly of Rounding Third. And you can listen to more Mindrocket Project sessions at the Jimmy Frost Show YouTube channel. We want to make sure our people that listen, our humans and others from other planets, go to
No machines.
at 9 p.m. on Sunday nights is the Homegrown Show, so we want them to go to www.933fmthewolf.com. There is a link, a little button that says Listen Live, where Viking Jim and Gary Angelo listen to the music of Northeast Ohio and I believe Western Pennsylvania. Yeah. Close enough?
Yes.
Check them out. Also, a new podcast from the members of Third Class, specifically Lee Boyle. It's the Nursery Podcast. Really, really great idea. I'm jealous of this podcast and its format. It's nostalgic, sentimental. It's interesting. It's cutting edge, occasionally vulgar, but in the best way. Nursery Podcast, you can find that at SoundCloud. Also, Youngstown Rock Show on Fridays at Golden String Radio. And check us out on Facebook. Submit your questions. Maybe we'll debate your topic the next time on Speaking of Music. All right, taking us out of here is another Mindrocket Project session by the band The Hawkeyes. Song's called Miracle Man. Thanks, guys.
Hi, we're the Hawkeyes. This is the Mindrocket Project. This song's called Miracle Man.